Oh, hello everybody. This is May 20th. I'm so glad that you could join us today. We've got a lot on tap today. We're going to be talking about real estate in the Tri-Cities. We're also going to be talking about jails in the Benton County Jail in specific. We're going to learn all about that. Two different places to live, one more desirable than the other, I think. But
one I've never been in.
You've never even toured?
Well, there was that time I fell off a freight train in Montana. We were hopping freight trains from Whitworth to Whitefish, Montana.
Okay, but we're not talking the Benton County Jail here. That might be an interesting, that's John McKay talking about his,
True
those
story.
were long ago days, weren't they, John?
Mm-hmm.
Long ago days. All right. Hey, I want to remind people, because we've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, but if you're just tuning in and you thought you were going to listen to Sean Hannity, he is on from 1 to 4, so you don't miss any Sean Hannity. He's on from 1 to 4, so you can check that out then. You know, if you aren't aware, our program called Meet in the Middle, I chose that name very specifically because I really feel that from the middle you can see both sides of an argument or an issue, and aren't we in need today of more compromise in our world? So that's why I chose that name. Not that residences like real estate are really controversial, but we're going to have a chance to learn a lot more about that with Gayle Stack. Gayle right now is president of the Tri-City Association of Realtors, that she told me was more than 700 strong right now. Is that right?
That is correct. There are 700 realtor members in the Tri-Cities.
That's a lot. All right. And also, Gayle is from Everstar. And what is your position there?
I am the designated broker and owner.
Okay, all right, Gayle. So Gayle has a lot of experience, has been around the Tri-Cities, seen a lot of the ups and downs, so I think that her perspective is really very valuable. Let's start with the number of homes on the market today. If somebody is going and looking for a home, there's a very low number, 815. That might sound like a big number, but in the world of real estate, that's fairly low, isn't it?
That's very low for our market. We have seen in the past, well, we could say 10 years, that it's been up to 1,400 homes on the market. Our market is very healthy at 1,200 homes on the market. So with 800 homes on the market with a very low inventory, that really puts a big emphasis on it being a seller's market out there. So it changes the dynamics a great deal.
Yes, it does. And so what is the average price of a home going for today?
The average sold price is about $218,000. The median price is about $209,000.
Okay. So where, I asked you this question earlier and you kind of turned up your nose at me, didn't like that question, but where is the best bargain in the Tri-Cities? So I guess I'm going to modify that to be where are people most likely to buy right now? Where are the best, where is the quickest sale?
Well, the quickest sale, I guess, would be in price range. The lower price ranges, I would say up to about $250,000 are going very fast. But that means that we're going to probably see those price ranges increase as well, in probably higher than the rates that we've seen annually. We've seen 2% increases each year. So we're likely to see that number exceed in the lower price ranges this year. Once you go above the 250, it starts to slow down a little bit, but it's still moving. And then in 300, 400, but we're seeing amazing movement in the upper end of the market as well, 500,000, which typically has been a very high number in our market, but they're now moving. So there's people stepping up to create room for those wanting to get into the market at the lower end.
So the first-time home buyer or the folks that are looking for houses under 250, boy, you got to act quickly. What does that mean? How long do houses stay on the market? What?
Well, I'm hearing things days like 1 day, like 2 days, a week,
Ooh.
5 days. It's very fast. If you see if you go out and look for a house that you want to buy, and you see something you like, you should write an offer right then. I think the days of looking at 10, 15 houses and then having a couple of weeks to make your mind up, those days are not there right now. If you find something you like, you better act quickly.
Okay, so, and also involved in that is we always want to be pre-approved financing-wise. Is that like a standard now in the world of house buying?
Absolutely, that is the very first step you take even before you go looking, because that will have the bearing on how much you can spend on the home, your dream home. Currently, interest rates are at low, 3.5% on a 30-year fixed mortgage. That depends on your credit qualifying, of course. But that credit qualifying is so important, and so you need to make sure that your credit is in good shape and get pre-qualified, so that you don't get your hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm wondering if this is happening in the Tri-Cities, where I know it's happening in Seattle right now, where people are offering more than the asking price in order to get the house.
Well, we are starting to see multiple offers, so that is starting. It's not prevalent yet, but I foresee that if this activity continues, and since this is April, going into summer, which is always our busiest time, that we will start to see bidding wars and multiple offers happening on our homes here.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess your advice, if you're thinking about it, you better move on it now. You better be doing it.
Yeah, and if you want to sell and step up, maybe you should be doing that too.
Okay, all right, something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you had provided me in advance of this was kind of a look at resale houses, homes versus new construction. And I, at a 12-month range, let me share this with you folks. So in the last 12 months, those houses that are resold, they've had previous owners already, 3,984. Now, new construction, which I thought would be a really big number for the last 12 months, has only been 291. Is that typical? I guess.
Well, yeah, I think it's on the low side, especially what has happened in Pasco in the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
With the impact fees that came to fruition in Pasco, that has really slowed the growth pattern out there. So the Pasco numbers have dropped dramatically. We've seen those numbers dwindle quite a bit. So we can use quite a bit more building. There are new plats coming out. There's the whole Badger South area that has been recently platted, and so there's more opportunities for builders to build to hopefully take care of the demand that's going on right now.
Right. So it's all about supply and demand, and we're not seeing builders create huge developments, are we? They're just picking off a few homes at a time. Is that how it's working?
That's pretty typical of the Tri-Cities. They don't have the builders in the area. We have not seen the big builders that you see in the metro areas come in and pick up subdivisions and build the whole subdivisions out. So what you see here is a builder come into a subdivision and pick up, maybe 3-5 lots, or take options on a couple of lots, and from there they build 1 or 2 or 3 homes at a time, and then as they sell, they keep building. So it's a much scaled down process.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break right now. I want to give you our phone number if you want to join our conversation. It's 509-547-8726. Next, we're going to ask Gayle to look into her crystal ball. What's in the future, if she can tell? She already told me 10 years out, that's way too far. We'll ask her to look just 5 or 3 years out. You are listening to Meet in the Middle. I'm Christine Brown. We're on News Talk 870. We're talking real estate here in the Tri-Cities. My guest today is Gayle Stack. She is with Everstar Realty. She is Everstar Realty, let me say. And also she is the president of the Tri-City Realtor Association. So we wanted to look into the future. And first, before we do, tell us some factors that we need to think about as we make predictions. What are some of those factors? Is the rental market have anything to do with it?
The rental market does have quite a bit to do with it, and there will always be a section of the rental market that are always looking to buy, and if the interest rates stay low at the 3.5% level, that makes it very attractive for renters to come out of apartments and be the first-time home buyers in the marketplace. So they are a buyer and a big factor in the marketplace.
Okay, all right. So what do you think is going to be happening over the next? Let's just look at the next year. will we continue to be in this problem of supply and demand where we have more demand than we have supply? Do you anticipate that to get worse?
It appears to be, yes, it appears that it may get worse. Part of what I'm seeing is the apartment occupancies are very full. So there is pressure on the apartments as well. So rents are going to be going up. So as rents go up, I think more renters are going to be looking to buy. That's an added buyer to the marketplace. Also, the predictions that are coming out of Tridec, et cetera, is that Hanford is very strong, and the Hanford dollars are going to be increasing as various construction projects are coming together out there. So they will be hiring more people, and they will be coming into the marketplace. Whether they're permanent jobs, temporary jobs, that puts more pressure on housing, whether it's a rental or it's renting an RV space or it's buying a home.
Right. Yeah, we've seen that many, many times, that's for sure. Let me share our phone number again. Remember, it's 509-547-8726. For example, if you have had an experience in buying a home in the past year, it would be fun to hear a little bit about your experience. So give us a call, join our conversation. So what are you looking at? What do realtors sit around talking about when they're thinking about the future in the next 3 years?
We hope interest rates stay attractive, for one. We hope that there is plenty of supply. We have clients that are looking and want to buy, and when the market gets out of balance, as we're approaching, it's hard. It's hard when you look at a home and you have to make a split-second decision on whether you want to buy it or else you're going to lose it. So it's added pressure for buyers. Sellers, maybe it's time for sellers we talk a lot about, how we should be working with sellers to maybe get homes ready for sale if now is the time, because this is the time for a seller to take a look if they've been thinking about moving up or making a change. So.
But what do you think? In 3 years, we're going to still be in the same situation. But, I don't want to paint this as a bad situation, because really what it means is that people's home values here in the Tri-Cities are staying very, very strong and, in fact, increasing. And yeah, that's what we want, don't we?
Well, I think this is a great time for opportunity. And when you're talking real estate, you're always wanting more value in your real estate. So I think it's a very positive time that we're approaching. It seems as though the next 3 years we are going to continue to track in this manner. Factors that can affect that is if a large subdivision comes online, there's lots of new construction in the pipeline. There is an apartment complex coming out of the ground in West Kennewick, 600 units. Shouldn't affect us that much, in the entire housing market, but we hope that developers continue to develop subdivisions to meet the demand that's out there, and it appears that that's going to occur.
Well, for those of us who have lived in the Tri-Cities for the past 20 years or more, we just heard this from Monty Webb yesterday, who was our guest, who lived here 20-some years ago and then moved back. He just could not believe all of the increases just in retail availability and, of course, all of the housing. And we continue to scratch our heads, people who live here. It's like, where are all these people coming from? So do you think that has everything to do with Hanford? Or is it just like a whole bunch of different reasons?
Oh, I think there are many reasons, albeit Hanford is one of the main drivers, but our medical has increased tremendously in the Tri-Cities between what's happened with Cadillac and Trios. And the recruitment of medical is crazy right now, the number of doctors coming into the area, which bodes very well for our economy. It does diversify our dependency on Hanford a bit. The retail, look at what's happened in retail. It's crazy development there. Lots of big companies coming in, new companies. So with what's happened at Queensgate, continuing to grow. Obviously Road 68 was the first one. Now it's out to Queensgate. Now it's heading out to South Kennewick. So we're continuing to grow in that sector.
Well, we'll move out of the residential area for one moment. What about commercial? You know, in a lot of communities, there are just empty buildings everywhere. I'm not sure that we see that here in the Tri-Cities.
Thankfully, we have not seen a lot of large, big boxes go dark that you do see in other markets when the economy takes a dip. We've been very fortunate. If a big box goes dark for whatever reason, it's more of a corporate reason. They've gone bankrupt or something of that nature, and it gets refilled rather quickly. You know, in our marketplace, our retail and our office space, we have good options on the market. I don't think we are overbuilt by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty balanced.
All right, that's some good advice for us. Let me ask you one more thing, and that is if we have someone who's sitting out there right now listening to our conversation today, and they're kind of sitting on the fence about buying their first home or deciding, yeah, I want to move up in the market, or I want to downsize, or I'm thinking about something that has to do with real estate. Maybe I want to buy a rental. What is your advice to them right now?
Do it.
Just do it, huh?
Well, don't wait. You know, our interest rates are an all-time low. There's no reason to wait if you're thinking about doing anything with real estate right now. We don't know how long these interest rates are going to stay where they're at. That's a big crystal ball to us. So if you're on the fence, go do it, because now's the time.
All right, Gayle. Some great advice for us. Thank you so much. You've provided a really interesting picture for us about real estate in the Tri-Cities. Now, we're going to be talking about another place to live, maybe not quite as desirable, the county jail. And what we want to talk about really is how does that get paid for? It keeps going up. We'll be back in just a moment.